An important development came for Scottish opera in the autumn of 1962 with the appointment of Peter Hemmings, who was at that time in charge of repertoire and planning at Sadler's Wells, as general administrator for the fledgling opera. His commitment and acumen and experience proved invaluable, and he formed a very productive partnership with Alexander Gibson, which lasted for 15 years. So the venture moved on into its second active year with new productions of Verdi's Otello, Mozart's Die Entführung aus dem Serail, and an adventurous double bill of Dalla Piccola's Volo du Notte and Ravel's L'Heure Espagnole. With that double bill, as with Pelleas the year before, the company signalled its intent to be adventurous in terms of repertoire, something which attracted the interest and approval of London critics, as well, of course, as many people in Scotland. Yet more mainstream tastes were never forgotten, as a production of Gounod's Faust, a once popular opera which had long gone out of favour, but proved hugely successful with the public, proved in 1964. One very important, indeed essential, ingredient of the new company was the development of the chorus. Not only with the choice of principals did the opera seek the very best possible, but also in training what became a first-rate chorus, whose work was often commented on very favourably by critics and public alike, and indeed, perhaps particularly gratifying for the chorus by the principals sometimes. This was under the charge of John Curry, and with his guidance the chorus developed into an outstanding group of singers whose contribution to the operas greatly enhanced their power and effect. You can hear them right from the start in our next group of extracts, which are from Verdi's Un Ballo in Maschera. This opera, which is on a strange subject, has a curious history. It tells of the assassination of Gustavus III, King of Sweden, in 1792. However, the Italian censor refused to allow the murder of a king to be seen on stage, so the king and the location had to be changed, respectively and ridiculously, I think, to the fictitious Earl of Warwick, Governor of Boston, Massachusetts. Since 1950, however, Verdi's intentions have been honoured, and it has gone back to the original scenario. In this production, you'll hear Charles Craig again. He is the unfortunate king. With him are Christine Deutecom as Amelia, Patricia Hay as Oscar, Bill McHugh as Rubing, Peter van den Berg as Horn, and Jan Derksen as Enkerstrom. All of these extracts are from Act 1.
sopra tuo vestito di una sarò la bella si non gusta la scena vedere dentro da come si c'è di compagni in piacere e la pesata non vede potrei al tema e vedi tutto trema con testo e consigliere e tu ma pronto l'abito da pescato e anche la vendetta la di colpo santo ogni punto si donna di letto questo corre nel magico tempo c'ho la palla decreto ognuno sabatoni e pareggi con me questa corre nella pelle sospende e lo devo carini che vengono in fare dopo le vecchie maniani con me e leggi che nulla patente per sé dico che non dici di quelli e stampette le terre che io se ti fosse marito le stelle che sfoggi le lupi con me ora le piacere mi aspetto mi signore aspetto mi incognito alle raccolo nell'atto della brama grande della brama ma la vita più cara non è
jolly assassination music from Verdi, and the chorus doing themselves proud at the beginning and the end of these extracts, as and did the principals right through. Well, as I've said before, a policy decision made right at the start and consistently applied was to hire the very best singers that could be afforded, regardless of nationality. Sometimes the way to do this was to get singers who were outstanding and would have big careers fairly early on in their career. In time, Janet Baker and Kiri Takanawa, both in the early stages of their careers, were among them, as was Helga Dernesch, an Austrian soprano whose career took her all over the world, to Bayreuth, the United States, and who recorded with the biggest names in the business, as indeed did the other two I've mentioned. Janet Baker's relationship with Scottish opera proved particularly fruitful. She enjoyed the ambience of the company and greatly admired Gibson's skills as a conductor of singers, which had no doubt been honed in his earlier days in London. Many famous names commented on his sympathetic approach, his ability to breathe with the singer and to support them in moments of stress, his instinct for the right pacing for their voices. So I'm going to quote Janet Baker on this. She wrote, "There are certain times in your life when you know without doubt that you're in the right place at the right time. And my relationship with Peter Hemmings and Alex Gibson was one of those occasions. It seemed to me that what they were doing in Glasgow was almost unique in Britain." Recently, Elizabeth Harwood told me that she had seen an enlarged photo in the Mozart House in Salzburg of the two of us in Scottish operas Così fan tutti, which shows, I think, how highly the profession rated us. That is something of which I am immensely proud. When Dame Janet became Chancellor of York University and was invited to name 3 honorary graduates, Alexander Gibson was one of them. Well, in our 4th and final video, we will chart the course of the end of the earlier stages of Scottish opera, and we'll bring it right up to date because of the company, 60 years old this year, is still going strong. And we'll hear extracts from the wonderful opera, the Rosen Cavalier by Richard Strauss. So see you then, I hope.